And now it's a laminated sign. I assume it has the same number on both levels. I'm afraid to go upstairs because the beard might come get me. But, again, no website address, no email address. So on these new signs that I've put up to be helpful, it has both phone numbers and it has the email address. But I've also put the web address. So, because I would think that the prosecutor's office would want to have a halfway respectable website for the citizens, I'm going to go ahead now and do a walk through the website. What you'll find is that it is a complete train wreck disaster that shows they don't care.
Okay, so here we are on Prosecutor Mark Tekulve's website. Since the office is locked to the public, I'm sure he does a great job at informing the public through his website, right? Because he cares. Now, the real thing is he doesn't give a rat's ass. He's never had an opponent in a primary or general election. He's never participated in a candidate forum. He has never taken questions, open-ended questions from the press. He is to me, in every respect, the example of a slimy prosecutor. He usually tries to weaponize the justice system against people he doesn't like from a political perspective. And he brings in, when he has to bring in a special prosecutor, it's always a forum shop person with a predetermined outcome. Justice is not blind with Mark Tekulve as prosecutor. So let's go look at his website, and let's start with About Us, about the office. And you see here, what a great guy. It is, I think, 5 years after he was elected, or 4 years, 4.5 years since he was elected. And his About the Office is talking about being the newly elected prosecutor of Claremont County. He was elected in 2020, took office in 2021, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care to update this. He's talking about the first few months of 2021 here, down here, first few months of 2021. What a slime. Just an absolute slimy individual that only goes through the motions of even caring about the public. Let's go to About Mark Tekulve. So in the About Mark Tekulve section, he's got five lines about Mark Tekulve. And then just some stuff that's not about Mark Tekulve, but about 2022. So I guess they put on here in 2022, 3 years ago, something about updating one of the computer systems in the office. So that's Mark Tekulve for you. By the way, his About information doesn't talk about his dad, who was a crooked attorney, frequently in trouble. And you'd like to at least see Mark Tekulve say, I've learned a lot from my past historical experience in my family, and that's why I'm so committed to fair, just, equitable, ethical, moral. But that would be, at least that would be making up good stuff. Let's go to the mission statement of the office. So here's the mission statement. It's mission statement. Very excellent web editing. You have the same thing twice right at the beginning. And then he talks nonsense about that he's committed to equal justice. Through my leadership and confidence. Okay, confidence. How about worrying about the confidence of the citizens, not the confidence of a crony staff? Like Lara Barron, who I think absolutely knows better that what goes on in that office is right now unethical, but she can't speak out against the crony, tit-sucking Claremont GOP system because she wants to be the next prosecutor. So the system basically, if you haven't figured this out with politics, the system teaches people to be corrupt in and of itself. And it's very sad. You'd be much better off to, I don't know, it's Sunday when I'm recording this, it's September 14th. You'd be better off to eschew wealth, riches, salaries, and do the right thing. Now we're to the organizational chart. I rip on this all the time. I've ripped on this for a long time. They have not updated their organizational chart since 2023. And it's also in Excel. So you can't see it online. You have to have Excel. And I'll click on it here and it'll open it up in Excel. And when it gets there. So nothing like making it impossible for the citizens to work with your office, like have shit on the web in Excel. So here's Lara Barron, okay, the lead criminal prosecutor. at the common pleas level, so the bigger crimes. Look at who it says works for Mark Tekulve and her. And we're going to come back first. Katie Terpstra, she became a judge in April. Okay, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months ago. We don't need to update it. Here's drunk Zach Zipper, where there was a cover up involving his drunken escapade at 2 times the legal limit in northern Kentucky, where any credible prosecutor's office would have said to Zach, "Thank you for your service. You can be a lawyer, but not in a prosecutor's office where one of his key roles is prosecuting DUI people when he's a wild offender himself." And it wasn't just that he was drunk. It was that he basically fled police and wrecked into a guardrail, and he won't take any questions about it. And I don't know who was in the car, who he was drinking with. For all I know, he was drinking with Mark. I don't know. But he won't take any questions because that's the way Mark Tekulve's office works. There's no accountability. They think they can get away with it. They feel like they own the Claremont Sun. So they can do whatever. So let's go down here. Who else works for Mark Tekulve? Dave Taylor, the congressman, still works for still works for Mark Tekulve. Isn't that wild? We don't even care so effing much in this office that we don't even update our org chart to take off judges and the congressman. And because I don't know about Dave Taylor, but Katie Terpstra is an appointed judge that should not be on the bench. She still works for Mark Tekulve, absolutely. Her and her husband are a part of the Mark Tekulve hackery clown system that the other 8 judges in Claremont County should take note of, because these people are an existential threat to the judiciary that's already got too much dirty laundry around. So, hey, but we can focus more on the judiciary in Claremont County coming up. Also, I want to point out Carol Rowe up here. She handles the grand juries and manipulates grand juries and manipulates herself to basically cover for Mark Tekulve. So when Greg Simpson told me, and I recorded him, that he had hacked my computer equipment and knew all these things about me and could tell things about me, and then lied up, down, left, right, front, and back to the sheriff's office. Carol Rowe then claimed that I potentially had falsified the audio after Simpson largely admitted to it. And because this office protects people like Greg Simpson, sleazebags like Greg Simpson, serial liars, those are the kind of people that Mark Tekulve likes. He likes these kind of wounded, damaged people that he can control. Now, the other thing over here, you've got the other parts of one of the things here is this civil division led by Brian Shrive. Like Jeanette Nichols here has been there a lot longer. Brian Shrive got brought in. He is a complete hack. He was brought in by Mark Tekulve at the head of the civil division with absolutely no prosecutor's office experience whatsoever. Whereas Jeanette Nichols, I think, has 20 plus years of experience. Joe Mooney is Brian Shrive's hack sidekick, and I have no idea how much time this office wastes on hackery versus doing a job. I do know that the commissioners seem to have an exorbitant amount of money of getting paid in outside counsel, which seems bizarre given that they have a robust civil division that should be doing that work. Also, Stephanie Ross here, her husband is a sheriff's deputy. He's the one that forgot to read the rights to the guy that killed his kids. It's all one big incestuous crony system, and it should get blown up. And it ain't going to happen with Lara Barron because she doesn't have the cojones to ever stand up to corruption. And I actually believe that her husband, Mike Allen Jr., who's on the radio, absolutely understands it's a corrupt system. I don't know what the dinner table conversation is, but he's told me he won't practice law in Claremont County because it's such a rigged court system. Okay, so that's the 2-year-old. I'm going to close that. 2-year-old org chart because we don't care. We don't have to update it. Now there's civil division and criminal division here. FAQs. Okay. Press releases. Okay, so let's go to press releases. Look at this. He's got press releases for 2022 and 2021. So I guess right at the beginning he had to fake like he gave a rat's ass, but not anymore. Not anymore. And a lot of these press releases that are here, let's go and see what comes up. If I go, let's see if it'll take me right to them. Okay. So there's actually some from 2023, but we don't care to update we don't care to update the actual web headings to be the right years. But you've got something about a conviction. I don't know. This is probably one of my cases. I don't know. 2023. You know that. Now, here's another hillbilly thing that these guys do. Look at this. Here's a Word document. Let's see what this case is about. January 14th, 2023. Okay. So, David Fornshaw, this is the case relating to the cover up of Jesse Kramig. So, Mark Tekulve, who I think wanted to ultimately get rid of Jesse Kramig in order to get his own person in there, like a Katie Terpstra, that he actually though ended up being part of the cover up relating to Kramig in 2023, July 2023. Remember, everybody claimed never happened. Even law enforcement was in on the cover up. Judge Nagel was part of the cover up. Stephanie Boyer, the court administrator in municipal that retired to get an extra bonus paycheck and now works with Nagel in the common pleas court. They were part of the cover up and they should have been prosecuted for their role in the cover up, but different rules for them. And then something about aggravated murder, just different criminal things out here that are indictments. So he's got a bunch of 2023 stuff, and I don't know what happened. I guess this is actually, let's go back here. If you just click on press releases, it goes to 2023. But if you click on 2022, I guess it's going to show me 2022. Let's see. Okay, 2022. Few other things on indictments. Okay, here's the one on theft from Claremont Senior Services. So this was an absolute cover up that Mark Tekulve absolutely covered up and still covers up embezzlement by a guy who's now deceased, Greg Carson, who's part of the crony system because it gets protected. They see. Look at this. Since there were no living suspects, further criminal investigation was not warranted. What they actually did was they quit investigating how much money had been embezzled because after they got to like 30, 40,000, because that actually what they said was it was so much that it would cost too much to figure out how much was embezzled. They did nothing to hold Greg Carson's estate accountable for the money. They don't care. It's a cover up. It's cover up, cover up, cover up. That's Mark Tekulve's. I think that's the way he was raised as a child, was to cover things up. It's what his dad did. So he just covers stuff up. All right. And then let's go down here. Let's see if there's anything else about 2020, 2022. And then we'll list it for the heck of it. Let's look at 2021 and see what's out there for 2021. Press releases. Okay, just two. Okay, so the last press release, let's go back to the main page. The last press release that he has put out is from more than 2 years ago, July 24th, 2023, because he doesn't care. And because the whole office is full of hacks, not professional people that would be embarrassed by this kind of website. If you follow me ever reading the Claremont Sun, you know that he has articles that are printed in the Claremont Sun. Why aren't they here? So apparently his press releases that go in the Claremont Sun, they're too lazy in the prosecutor's office to put out here. I think there's a lot of people like me that say, oh, I can't imagine anybody be worse than Vince Ferris, but Mark Tekulve is multiples more unprofessional, crooked than Vince Ferris ever was. And Vince Ferris's people like Mary Lynn Burke would be ashamed of what's going on when now she's a judge. Vince Ferris is people like Ernie Ramos. I think Ernie Ramos was a hack, but he wouldn't be a hack like Brian Shrive. I mean, Brian Shrive takes civil division hackery to a whole new level. It's embarrassing. And Brian Shrive would be largely unemployable anyplace else in a public job. Let's look at Parole Watch. I'm looking at these things real time, just so I can be. I'm waiting to be impressed by something here. Watch. Okay, so this is updated February of 2025. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So like 6, 7 months ago, we had this update. Wasn't that fucking cool? That's awesome, isn't it, Mark? We love to see that Mark keeps something updated for within 6 month period. That's amazing compared to the multi-year cluster F. And then Marcy's Law, victim rights request, and contact us. Let's see what they have under employment opportunities. Let's see if they have anything out there. I guess they just have supposedly there's a lot of turnover in this. I've never paid attention to it, but I guess they just list assistant prosecutor, paralegal, and victim advocate as what they do. Hey, maybe I could apply as a paralegal. I don't have a degree or certificate in paralegal studies. I do have a year, more than a year of work doing my own pro se stuff and wins at the Supreme Court and stuff. Maybe I could be a paralegal for Mark's office. I'd be better than a lot of people in there. I guarantee I'd be better than the civil division people they have now, between him and Mooney in particular, and the other ones who are bent over to him. Okay, so that is Mark Tekulve's website. A total cluster F, totally unprofessional, totally not up to date, and it goes side by side with the doors being locked at the prosecutor's office. It is an office that isn't like a siege mentality due to their hackery and incompetence. They're afraid of the public, but they're also paralyzed and they can't even update their own website. Let's see. I'm going to talk next time I see Congressman David Taylor. I'm going to ask him if he requested to be removed off of their org chart because he wants to make clear he doesn't work for Mark